always wanted to talk to your crush but never had any idea how to start the conversation or how to slide into their DMs? Then you've come to the right video. Hi Internet best friends! Today we're going to be talking about how to start a texting conversation with your crush in 2021, and it doesn't matter how well you know the person. I picked 10 plus conversation starters so any of you guys can find something that is going to be useful for you. And as usual, I will be keeping the best for tip number 10, so make sure to stick around till the end of this video. So the first conversation starter that I have for you guys is to reply to their Instagram story, which can be a pretty good one because if they post something funny on their story or if they post something that you can comment on, it can be a great conversation starter. But if your crush doesn't have Instagram, don't worry about it because I have so many other tips that don't involve having Instagram. The second conversation starter does not involve having Instagram, and this conversation starter is to ask a question related to a class or an extracurricular activity that you guys share. You can ask something about the book that you've been assigned in that class or some question about the homework. And another idea with this, which some of you guys have been reluctant, like no way, my pride is not gonna allow me, but trust me, it is going to be acting in your favor because if your crush is a guy and they're good at a particular subject, if you ask for help on a homework question in that subject, it is going to be acting in your favor because one, this way you're complimenting the person on something that they're good at, and two, guys actually are problem solvers and they feel good when they can help you out with something. So if you text the person something along the lines of, oh, I know you're like really good at physics and me and my friends can't really figure this homework problem out, like none of them know the answer, I was wondering if you could help me out with it. The third conversation starter we actually came up together on one of my lives. It is if you guys already have some kind of talking base with your crush, but you don't really text and you want to start a texting conversation with them, send them a funny TikTok. Oh my god, this next one I love because I've used it so many times, like it's insane. I like this one guy and I used this conversation starter over summer, and then we went to like texting every day for a month for like 5 hours a day. But this one requires like a good timing to it, so if you guys share a class and you had exams in that class and the grades just came out, you can text them asking them what they got on that exam. Number 5 is depending on what the regulations are in your country, if you can still go places. If the person posts something from a location, you can be like, oh hey, I saw your post from blank, whatever the location is, and I also wanted to go there but I've never been there. I was wondering if you liked it, if you would recommend going there, and then the conversation can go further from there. The sixth tip is similar to that, which is if you guys are still going places, you can ask if they're going to a certain event that you're also going to. And the seventh tip is also building off of the location, but the other ones aren't, so if you guys are not allowed to go places, don't worry about this. This one is like a little, I don't know, it's a little sneaky. So you can text the person being like, hey, were you at blank fill in the spot today? Because I think I saw someone who looked exactly like you and I was wondering if that was you. Or you can just leave it at the first sentence of like, hey, did you go to blank today? And from there they can be like, no, I didn't go there, or yeah, I actually was there, or something like that. And then you can be like, oh really, that's weird, I saw someone who looked exactly like you, and then you can ask something else to keep the conversation going. Okay, the eighth one is one of my favorites because this is something that I've used so many times, but this is also like, again, the timing thing. So if it is their birthday, you can wish them happy birthday, and I love this one because it doesn't really come off as weird since like social media notifies everyone about everyone's birthdays now, and from there you can keep the conversation going with like asking if they have any plans for their birthday, and you can use this even if you don't know the person that well. Okay, this next conversation starter is if they post something with their interest, like maybe they're wearing a band t-shirt or a graphic t-shirt, or they post something about a book or a concert or a sports team, some interest basically that you guys share. You can use that as a great conversation starter. You can be like, oh, I didn't know you also liked blackbear, I love him, he's one of my favorite artists, when did you start listening to him? And something like that, which is going to be great for you. The 10th tip, my favorite one, is if the person is really good at something, let's say they're really good at playing guitar, for example, you can send them a text that is like, hey, I've heard you were really good at playing guitar. I was also thinking about starting it. Do you have any tips for me? And this one is so good because one, you're complimenting them with a meaningful compliment on something they're actually really good at and not just like a shallow compliment about looks. And two, you're also making them feel like a mentor or something like that. Everyone loves that feeling, therefore the person will be really excited to actually do that for you. And the 11th tip is to compliment their performance on something. If they recently had a football game, or if they recently had a drama performance, a music performance, anything, and you were there and you saw it. And if you want to get an immediate reply from the person, which is something I've also talked about in my how to get your crush to like you over text video, what you can do is make it like a time limited text. So with the first sentence, you set a time limit, be like, hey, I don't really have that much time because I'm at some practice, or I'm with my friends right now. And then you go like, but I just wanted to say, and then you give the compliment. This will make the person reply faster because it takes off the pressure of like wondering if you're gonna get into like a 2 hours conversation with this. And once they reply, you can have a short conversation with it and make sure to drop something in there that you can latch onto later to get into the next conversation. I really hope you guys found something useful to you. I love you guys so much. And if you guys are not subscribed, then subscribe to become internet best friends and join the fam. If you guys want to know how to get your crush to like you over text, then you can watch this video. If you want to watch the whole crush playlist, then you can go into this playlist. And if you want to see my latest video, then it's going to be linked right here. I love you guys so much, and I hope this video helped.